2025 is certainly rolling right along. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to Woods North. Welcome back to the southern end of Lake Champlain. Here's the Crown Point Bridge. This is New York, right over here. And if I spin around, this is Vermont, right over here. The southern end of the lake, it gets really, really thin down here. The lake's just a couple hundred yards wide right here. My apologies if this audio comes out terrible. The wind is absolutely howling, as it does most days on Lake Champlain. It's not too cold today. The high is about 38 or 40, so it's not too cold. But we got like 20-mile-an-hour winds we're contending with out of the south. But we're just going to roll with the punches today. The same program as the last time we were down here. We were going lake trout fishing. So there's going to be a combination of tip-ups and jig rods that we're going to be using. Hopefully show off a couple of nice fish. To keep things fresh too, if we get into them today, we're going to do a little catch and cook. Haven't done one of those in a while, especially with lake trout. And also, I was talking with Sprague too. I didn't realize this, but the last video that I put up, I caught, the last video I put up here rather, caught a lake trout on a tip-up. That was the first Lake Champlain lake trout I've caught through the ice on the channel, which is pretty wild because we've had so many adventures, and I've caught so many lake trout on Lake Champlain before, but I guess just not on camera. So we're gonna try to repeat that today. It's not too cold, but it's windy, and I'm gonna shut up and go set up. So I hope you're in a much less windy, warmer place than I am. Hopefully on a couch, not driving. Don't be on your phone while you're driving. Speaking of safety, I just got interviewed by ABC News when we get out here about ice fishing safety, so I'll keep everybody posted where that interview ends up. It might be good, it might be bad, I'm not sure. But right now, I'm gonna start fishing, so stay tuned. I already got a flag.
That one took a lot of line.
I know. We're about to be out of line. This is the one I just retied, right? Got it. Thanks for the assist. Oh boy. I know. The wind, it's stacked up on top of me.
It's gonna be a mess to clean up.
It's alright. The wind, it's stacked. Really deep head shakes. This one's not bad. Oh, he choked it too. Yeah. Oh, he like completely swallowed it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we got the exact line.
This is a good fish, dude.
Finally waited.
Dude, the first one, it was like...
Next to his butthole.
How long do you think that is?
That's a little bit longer. right?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know if it's 30.
26, 27.
We'll measure when we get back there.
I think it's probably 27, 28. I mean, I got 18 inches on that tip off.
I could feel I'm still hung up on this line. That's 18. It's probably 20.
Yeah, 29.
22 now.
28, I think.
See if we can get 30 out of him when we get back.
Beauty. Yes, sir. See that ugly face?
Near him.
Ah. Let's get up. Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, drill.
All right, well, we gave it about all we could take. The wind was unbearable all day. It wasn't that cold, but it was definitely frustrating to be out. Also kind of a slow day. We had, what, 3 flags today? So landed 2 fish. One was pretty nice. Mine was like way bigger and almost went 30 inches. I had another one that broke off. All 3 fish were caught on the same tip up, which was pretty wild. But after a while, the perch kind of moved in and they were messing with our bait and kind of got frustrating. So we got out the Hardwater. We're heading back towards civilization here. And we're gonna do a little catch and cook, like I mentioned before. And we're gonna make lake trout burgers. Never done this on the channel before. So hopefully you'll stick around and see if this tastes any good. I bet it will, but stay tuned. All right, it's definitely been a long day here. I'd say I'm definitely losing some steam, and so is my co-angler slash cameraman slash sous chef, Mr. Jacob's Prick right now. We're getting a little groggy. We're up at about 4:30 this morning, and it's going on 10 o'clock at night right now. But the show rolls on. It can't be a catch and cook without the cooking portion. So we are back here at the restaurant. If you're new here, this is my family's restaurant in downtown Burlington, Vermont on Church Street. It's been here for the better part of 46 years. My grandfather started in 1979. And I decided just this fall that I want to do some cooking videos here because of all the cool stainless steel industrial equipment as well as the industrial strength dishwasher that's back here. Makes cleanup go a lot easier to clean up after some of these catch and cooks. But to start out here, we gotta get these lake trout cleaned out. They've been riding in the bed of the truck, getting snowed on, getting rained on. It's plenty cold out, so we didn't need to keep them on ice. But first things first, we gotta get them filleted out, right? So cutting up a salmonid, like any kind of cold water, salmon, lake trout, that kind of variety of fish, super easy to clean, right? So I just like to take a sharp knife and I'll make a cut right behind the gill plate, a diagonal cut like this, and then one smaller cut right in front of the tail, and then I'm gonna just use the taper, that fillet knife, to go along the spine, and I'm gonna cut all the way down the fish, stay above the ribs. And what we're gonna end up with after these 2 fish, we're gonna end up with 2 awesome lake trout fillets. And so from here, what we're gonna need to do is then skin these fillets out. Shouldn't take too much more time. The sharper the knife, the better here, obviously. Once we have these fillets skinned out, we're then gonna cube them up because the next step is to send them through the meat grinder. I have this meat grinder. I actually haven't used this on the channel in a long time. But this LEM grinder sent almost every animal that I've ever killed through this thing, and it absolutely rips. So we're gonna send the lake trout through, and we're gonna actually grind it twice. The first is gonna be a coarse ground. It's gonna really mix all that stuff together, but the second grind is, or the second grind rather, not ground, is a different mesh metal filter that the meat gets pushed out of when it's going through the grinder, and that's a fine grind. And when it comes out, it looks a lot like this. It kind of almost looks like ground turkey that you'd buy from somewhere in the grocery store or supermarket, something like that. And this is gonna be actually the basis for our burgers here. So from this point, we're gonna take that ground lake trout, we're gonna add one finely diced red shallot, we're gonna add plenty of minced garlic. I have a little bit of caper here, just some capers that I'm gonna roughly chop up and add to the mix. Some lemon juice, a little bit of Cajun seasoning, cracked black pepper, just a pinch of salt, one egg, as well as some panko, which is just, you know, breadcrumbs, and that's gonna act as kind of like a nice solidifier. It's gonna make these patties kind of hold their form a little bit better. And we're gonna mix this all together, almost like we're making a meatloaf, right? So we're just gonna mix all these ingredients together until they're finely distributed into the bowl here, and then I'm just gonna put some gloves on and make some patties. And with the amount of meat that we have here, I was able to make 5 patties. They're probably about 7 ounces each. They're gonna get nice and formed up here, and once I get that done, next thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna get one of these medium saute pans, like ripping hot, right? So we're gonna get the range turned on, and before I add any oil, I want that pan to be like screaming hot. Because if I add the oil too quick, the oil is gonna burn. It's gonna affect the flavor of the food here. But if we get the pan hot first and then we add the oil, what it's gonna be able to do is we're gonna get a good sear on those patties when I place them in, and a good sizzle, right? So it's gonna be able to let us flip those patties. And once I do that, I'm gonna kill the heat on the stove, and then those are gonna go in the oven for maybe like 10 to 15 minutes. And while those rip in the oven, we're actually gonna get the rest of the dish prepared while the burgers are cooking. So to go with this, I'm gonna add, it's real simple, just a sauteed red onion, and that's easy, right? Just a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt, let that go for a little bit, and then a saute pan. I also am gonna add a freshly roasted red pepper, and you can do this at home too if you have a gas range or anything like that. You can buy these pre-made at a store, but I think they're a lot better if you do them fresh. So I just have a really large red bell pepper here, and I'm basically just gonna torch it on the range. And if you went to a campfire when you were a kid and you burned a marshmallow, it's essentially the same thing. You're gonna get a nice char on the outside, and it's gonna actually really affect the flavor. And it's gonna bring out all these different kind of sensations in the pepper that you're not gonna get if you don't roast it. And it's gonna go really well with seafood and with lake trout. So we're gonna add that to our burger as well. For a sauce, I'm gonna make up a real quick, just a lemon, caper, dill, mayo that's gonna go on the bun. And I'm gonna just add some undressed arugula. I really like arugula, especially with like salmon burgers, trout burgers, anything like that. It's got like a nice peppery kind of tinge to it that really goes well with everything else that's gonna go in this dish here. But after about 10 minutes, those patties are gonna be done. I'm gonna pull those out of the oven. We're gonna get a really good, just quick golden brown toast on these sesame seed buns that I got up in the broiler. And then after that, all we gotta do is build our sandwich, right? So in this station right here, we're gonna start with the bottom bun, freshly toasted. We're gonna have a nice schmear. I think that's the first time I've ever used schmear on the channel. So welcome to Woods North schmear of lemon, caper, dill, mayo. It's gonna go right in the bottom bun. On top of that, we're gonna add a few slices of this freshly roasted red pepper. Right on top of that is gonna be one lake trout patty, which I think actually is probably gonna be bigger than the 7 ounces that I thought it was gonna be. On top of that, we're gonna add just a pinch of sauteed red onion, a good helping of arugula, and then on top of that is the top bun that, you know, hopefully is toasted to perfection as well, with just another schmear of the lemon caper mayo that we whipped up here. Throw a pick in there, and that's pretty much it. And this came out a lot bigger than I thought it was gonna be, so after we admire this for a second here, as is routine, I'm gonna have to probably smash this down in order to take a couple of bites. But let's admire the work here, and then let's chow down. that is a wrap on this video. It's actually a couple days later. I forgot to film this outro after Sprague and I enjoyed those rather delicious lake trout burgers. That's definitely gonna be added to my repertoire for lake trout recipes. A lot of people say they taste bad or they taste too fishy. I've been a stickler about this on the channel before. I really just think it's all about how you prepare certain fish. So like oily fish, if you just put them in the oven, salt and pepper, they're probably not gonna taste very good, but if you smoke it, if you add enough spice, and if you treat it right, it's gonna be good. And trust me, I know gross fish. The two grossest things I've eaten on the channel to date so far, I made sushi with stock brook trout, and I also ate raw carp out of a farm pond while I was fishing in Ukraine over the summer. If you haven't checked those videos out, make sure you click down in the description below. I'll link those, just so you can see that this was by far not the grossest fish that I've eaten on the channel. But that about wraps it up. I'm actually in another body of water here, wearing my dumb sunglasses for the dumb video that Sprague and I just tried to film. Didn't work out. We're gonna try again later this weekend. But if you did enjoy this video, do me a giant favor, hit that like button, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to Woods North. It takes just a moment of your time, it's completely free, and it's a great way to support the brand. But I'm just about frozen solid, so until next time, people, as always, be good. I'm Larry, this is Woods North. See you later.